The Lord be with you.
With your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, I tell you, make friends for yourselves with dishonest wealth, so that when it fails, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. The person who is trustworthy in very small matters is also trustworthy in great ones. And the person who is dishonest in very small matters is also dishonest in great ones. If therefore you are not trustworthy with dishonest wealth, who will trust you with true wealth? If you are not trustworthy with what belongs to another, who will give you what is yours? No servant can serve two masters. He will either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and Mamon. The Pharisees, who loved money, heard all these things and sneered at him. And he said to them, You justify yourselves in the sight of others, but God knows your hearts. But what is of human esteem is an abomination in the sight of God. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning.
Good morning, Father.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Nice cold morning. Our Gospel for today, very interesting. In the first line of the Gospel, I tell you, make friends for yourselves with dishonest wealth, so that when it fails, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. This is in connection with our Gospel yesterday. Do you remember the Gospel yesterday? The parable of the dishonest steward.
Oh, okay.
After the Gospel yesterday, this one is connected right away. So the Gospel yesterday of the dishonest steward, about he will be dismissed as a steward, and then asking for his master's debtors, and then the master commanded this dishonest steward for acting prudently, not for being dishonest again, but for acting prudently. So, and then the Lord said, I tell you, make friends for yourselves with dishonest wealth, so that when it fails, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. The Lord meant this in connection with the parable of the dishonest steward that I mentioned yesterday, that people are so prudent and very planning and very, very meticulous, very, very organized in worldly matters, worldly affairs, dishonest wealth. And so the Lord challenges us yesterday to be good stewards, first and foremost, and be prudent stewards. Be better than those dishonest people. Be better than them, children of the world and children of the light. So we must be better than them. And he said, make friends for yourselves. Those things, meaning be better than them. Allow yourselves also to be cunning, to be planning, because when these things fail, you will welcome in eternal dwellings. Meaning the Lord said that if you are very good in planning in worldly matters, you must also be better in planning spiritual matters, godly matters. And this is the challenge of the Lord for us. And He said, if no servant can serve two masters, he will either hate one or love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and Mammon. And so, our wealth, our blessings must be used for others. Our fortunes, our blessings must be used for God, for God's glory. And this is the challenge of the Lord for us in the world today. That sometimes there's here in our gospel today, the mammon, the material world, the riches. Sometimes people focus on them and then forgot God. The Lord said, you justify yourselves in the sight of others to the Pharisees, but God knows your hearts. But for what is of human esteem, what is precious in the eyes of man, is an abomination in the sight of God. It's always, sometimes we think of money or material world as the most precious one. And then we forgot that in the end of our lives, there is more precious one. Our relationship with God, our spiritual life. Amen.
Amen.